Well, hello, everyone. Happy Saturday. I am Kennedy, along with Griff Jenkins, Lisa Booth, and Joey Jones. Welcome to the big weekend show. The big story tonight. President Biden's ice cream priorities, of course. I get so grossed out watching him eat ice cream. Are you like me? His administration now taking action to fix those pesky soft-serve ice cream machines. Very important. Watch.
I don't drink or smoke, but I eat a lot of ice cream.
Maybe he should start drinking and smoking. But doesn't Biden have a lot more to worry about than his love of the frozen dairy treat? He's now under fire for praising Senator Schumer's seemingly anti-Israel speech on the Senate floor. Lucas Tomlinson live at the White House with that. Lucas.
Kennedy, critics are calling the speech by the Senate Majority Leader unprecedented and an example of election interference. Here's Chuck Schumer on the Senate floor Thursday.
I believe a new election is the only way to allow for a healthy and open decision-making process about the future of Israel.
President Biden, speaking in the Oval Office, appeared to approve of the speech and says he was given a heads up.
He made a good speech, and I think he expressed a serious concern, shared not only by him, but by many Americans.
Some of those Americans include more than 100,000 people who voted uncommitted during the Michigan primary, a state Biden narrowly won in 2020, but Donald Trump won 4 years earlier, and where, according to a new Fox News poll, Trump is currently leading Biden by 3 points. At the White House press briefing following Biden's remarks, John Kirby offered the following explanation into the president's thinking.
The president spoke about the passion with which Leader Schumer made that speech. And the president said that he knows that those remarks, they resonate with many Americans out there.
The top Republican in the Senate, Mitch McConnell, slammed Schumer's speech.
It is grotesque and hypocritical for Americans who hyperventilate about foreign interference in our own democracy to call for the removal of a democratically elected leader of Israel.
President Biden is departing soon from here at the White House to attend the annual Gridiron Dinner, the white tie affair that's been around for over 130 years. It's his first time attending as president. Kennedy?
Go enjoy those cherry blossoms. Great reporting. Thank you, Lucas. Well, the problems are piling up for Biden, the president, but he seems to be very focused on that love of ice cream still. How exciting.
Mr. President, what did you order?
Chocolate chip. I'm a chocolate chip guy.
Sure, chocolate chip.
I want a double-dipped waffle cone with vanilla chocolate chip. I don't drink or smoke, but I eat a lot of ice cream.
My grandma lived to be 100. She was more cogent than that. His administration is trying to get an exemption so soft-serve machines in restaurants can be fixed by third-party repair technicians. The most pressing issue facing the nation. But should Biden's sugar fixation really be his only priority? He's got to fix the border. He's got an economy to rebuild and a re-election campaign to seriously worry about. Democrats are reportedly getting ready to, quote, go to war on third-party candidates. And then there's his vice president, Kamala Harris, who said recently she is, quote, ready to serve as president if her boss had to step down. Now, a new poll finds only about a third of voters think she is actually qualified to be president. That's quite a voter endorsement there. A Washington Post columnist seems to agree. A new op-ed calls for the Veep to step aside. All right, so Griff, I want to start with you, and I want to talk a little bit about the president, his fixation with frozen lactose, and the inappropriate moments where he likes to discuss foreign policy issues. Let's walk down memory lane with Seth Meyers, as the president did, as he was doing something untoward to an ice cream cone. Watch.
Can you give us a sense of when you think that ceasefire will start, sir?
Well, I hope by the beginning of the weekend. The end of the weekend. At least my national security advisor tells me that we're close.
So as a member that is occasionally the White House reporter like Lucas, I remember this day, February 27th, of somehow involved with the White House reporting that day, and we were stunned that he was discussing a ceasefire in Gaza while holding an ice cream cone. And if you watch the video there, he's hearing the question about a ceasefire in Gaza as he's like, No, hold on. Wait a second. It's Gaza. It's ceasefire. I won't take the actual bite. And it's unbelievable that you have. I mean, that is a very compromising photo op. Now, in fairness, other presidents have done it. Remember when George W. Bush was talking about getting bin Laden on the golf course, and then he says whatever he's going to say. He says, now watch my drive. But this is projecting weakness. You shouldn't hold an ice cream cone in your hand and be showing yourself wanting to lick it while you're discussing a ceasefire in Gaza.
No, but he's the best retail politician we've ever seen. He's also the face of the Democrat Party, the strongest candidate they've ever had, in the best environment, the best economy. Everything should be going his way and coming up Milhouse, yet somehow it's not. And now we're seeing some NBC reporting. There is a war going on within the Democrat Party. They are trying to squash some of these third-party candidates, particularly RFK Jr., who is making some headroads with younger Democrat voters.
Well, look, I like ice cream too, but I'm not a potential dementia patient, so there's that. But yeah, look, Democrats are gearing up. The DNC has their sights focused on JFK Jr. Look, he's got RFK Jr. rather. Thank you. He's got the Kennedy last name. If you look at national polls, at least in a three-way race, he's polling around 15%. But in the modern era, no third party or independent candidate has gotten above 19%. So we'll see how big of a spoiler he ends up being for Democrats. Ballot access is not easy for an independent candidate. Mm-hmm. And you look at California, for instance.
What about no labels?
You have to get, well, they haven't been able to field a candidate yet. But in California, if you're an independent candidate, you have to get 219,000 signatures and a 105-day stretch. So that's not easy to do. So we'll see which candidates get on, which ballots in which states to see what a big deal they were. But look, Jill Stein helped tip the favor to Donald Trump in 2016 in Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania. So you don't always have to get a big percentage to end up, swaying an election.
They thought Gary Johnson was going to hurt former President Trump, but in fact, just not enough people liked Hillary Clinton, and not enough people like Vice President Kamala Harris. That is a known. And according to a new Washington Post op-ed, quote, Harris could provide her own reasons for moving on. Hint, hint. Perhaps she and Biden could cut a deal for her to become the next attorney general if he's reelected. Biden then could tap someone else with executive experience who could reassure voters that the next vice president would actually be ready, I added the actually, to take the reins should events require it. Democrats and Republicans alike would be relieved. Please, Madam Vice President, do it for your country. Do you think she puts the country above sniffing that presidency, which for her is right around the corner? And
listen, there's a saying in Washington that every senator sees a president when they look in the mirror, right? That's where their aspirations are.
Is that a quote? That's really good. Did you just write that?
No, I've been told that too many times.
Okay.
But so if that's the idea that that's where their aspirations are, she was in the Senate. She's vice president for a reason, because she wants to be president. Harry Potter fan fiction is closer to being reality than the idea of her stepping down to a lower cabinet position.
Absolutely right.
That's political suicide. It's career suicide. And above all that, it's less than it is a saying she's better for this. It's saying she would be admitting she's not good at leading. And that's the problem they have. I feel like we're in this lull because both President Trump and President Biden are waiting to kind of get the crown as the nominee. We're going through this, what's left of a primary season, allowing parties to align. And I think right now the big part is allowing parties in different states to decide what issues they're going to push the hardest for a party platform. So ice cream becomes a story. I don't know. Like, there are a lot of things happening in the world that are really difficult for Americans to understand or accept. But every day that goes by, they just become more normal. The border becomes more normal. Yeah. What's happening in Israel becomes more normal. Ukraine is incredibly normal right now as far as just an issue out there. I remember reporting on it 24/7 for a week because it was a war with Russia. And so you've got a president that's 3.5 years into his presidency. You've got a president that's 50 years into his career. Nothing is going to upset him, as far as events in the world go. And as citizens, we want to see some emotion. We want to see some reaction, some passion. When that funnels into leadership, it at least makes us feel better. We're not going to get any of that from him.
No, and we're not getting reassurance. We also see a lot of waffling, particularly on Israel. That's why it's kind of surprising to see Chuck Schumer. This is a New York senator telling Israel that they should call for new elections. And I think Mitch McConnell was actually right there, the great senatorial terrapin.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.